Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Nancy DeMarco is the first family member to join us. Welcome. Hello, family. La Familia. I'm glad you are here, Nancy. You are our first one, although you're not listed in the count yet. But maybe she's just hooking up now. We missed last week, so we're starting afresh. But hopefully, we'll get our audience back and have a great time. I always come into these shows thinking I don't have enough material. But of course, you always bring material, and then I start to write everything down and form an order. And before you know it, I'm saying, I got too much stuff. I got too much stuff. So we'll see how much we get through. Susie Young joins us at this point. Just comment right here in the live section. We'd love to hear from you. Hello, Melissa VD. Happy to see you again, Jack. Glad you're feeling better. Well, it's still a work in progress. And I'm not going to go through my whole health history and bore you because I bet you if you're over 60, you've got some issues too, right? It just seems to happen. And of course, if you eat too much pizza and you tend to love the sweets. Oh, the sweets. When I have a cup of hot tea and I don't drink coffee, I got to have something to dunk. I got to have something to dunk. But anyway, if you're brand new, hi, Brenda. Hi, Judy Wright. Rick Robinson from Texas. Really? My kids live in the Austin, Texas area. What part of Texas are you in, Rick? Yes, give us your rain. No, don't give us your rain. They're going to have rain in Southern California. We'll talk about that tonight. Marianne Rossi, not Donna Rossi, is here. Starting to come in fast now. Always love to know where you're watching from. And I invited someone very special tonight. We'll see if he checks in. He probably wants to check us out. So I'm trying to give you a little synopsis of what we are about. We call this the Virtual Church of the Disillusioned. I did that back in 2016. Basically, what I was saying is I know a lot of people were turned off by mainstream churches. They just don't want to be part of these social clubs that after a while you start to realize the games people play, that kind of thing. So we thought we would welcome those that are downtrodden, depressed, and disillusioned about life in general, really. So we've been doing that, and it wasn't until 2018 I found my really big signature topic, and that would be the pastor from Benton, Arkansas, known as Bob Joyce, who thousands and thousands and thousands of people all over the world believe he is Elvis Presley. And you only have to go and do a minuscule internet search, and you will see how popular Bob Joyce is. I only speak of possibilities. I don't come to final conclusions. There are many more Elvis / Bob Joyce programmers out there. He looks like him. He sounds like him. He gives lots of clues, and then he pulls back, and it's kind of like a cat and mouse game or whatever you want to call it. But it is the listeners, the viewers' most popular topic. It's the reason I have over 3,300 subscribers and growing. I'm well aware of that. Redneck Ways is here. I hope everyone is doing well. Shelly is here from Canada, of course. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Jack. Blessings to you all. And I did see somebody else. Larry, I knew it was Larry. Larry has gone wild putting up new videos and things like that. Kathleen is here. Hi, Larry, she says. Yeah, okay. I see how it is, Kathleen. Gene Phillips and hi, Jack. I believe Bob Joyce is Elvis, as many people do. And so you have this little church in Benton, Arkansas, with about 125 seats, and people from all over the world and various parts of America come. If you're a filmmaker and you want the biggest film you ever did, do the Bob Joyce topic and do it right, which I know there are many filmmakers that are very capable of doing that. That would be the biggest thing you ever did. It is the biggest story on the planet that has never really been told, except here on YouTube by various Elvis programmers, Bob Joyce programmers, etc., etc. But health wise, I still have the bronchitis. It's not easy to knock out. Many of you know about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I had a ICD, a defibrillator slash gathering machine. What do you call it? Oh, a pacemaker. It's like three in one. It does three things implanted in my chest because I have cardiomyopathy. Not a bad version. I've never really had any symptoms, but I do have some scarring around the heart muscle, a little bit of an aneurysm, not the kind that will burst and kill you. And so they put this in my chest, and I'm glad it's there. It's like having a paramedic in your chest. First, it will try to go to the pacemaker if there's a problem, and then if that doesn't work, it will shock your heart, which will feel like a kick to the chest. You don't want to be driving on the freeway at 70 miles an hour. I think it would give you some signs that you better pull over because something is going on. And if all else fails, it plays the funeral march. I think that's a very, very high functional device. A high functional device. But we talk about a lot of things here. We talk about politics. I think I know is the great Bill Maher. I think many would know that he's a pretty bright guy, and you don't have to agree with everything he says. But he's a very bright commentator. He said, I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me hoodwinked, hijacked by a bunch of idiots that are so sensitive and so much want to control America when they don't know their arse from their elbow. So we come against that. We don't come against all Democrats. Some things that Democrats believe, I believe too. I always was for prison reform. Just wasn't for them destroying cities, you know what I mean? And looting. Don't take more than $950. Well, they sure did at Nordstrom's, right? Last week in San Francisco. They're just going to have to close San Francisco down because the governor has his thumb firmly implanted, you know where. There's no way this clown could be president. And he allows this San Francisco DA to just react with nonsensical comments and an agenda that has pretty much destroyed life for many of the people in San Francisco and sent stores closing and the people running away. Good job, Newsom. Oh my God, what has happened to America? And I know it's happening in other countries, not so much, right? Because you wouldn't allow that crap. So there's Brenda, there's Gene Phillips, there's Shelley. Jack, you're on fire tonight. Well, I don't know. It's been a interesting few weeks. I've got my cough drop ready. I've got some water ready. You just don't want this to develop into pneumonia. So I'm on like 3 drugs now, trying to knock it out. I've been to the urgent care twice. I see my GP on Wednesday. And this is one of the things that can happen when you have a defibrillator implanted. There's a host of things that can happen. But I had a Westchester Medical Center surgeon implanted. He does it all the time. He's brilliant. And then I have another guy down at Westchester, my main heart doctor, saying that he's got a whole plan. I got to go see him soon. So it's not like I'm going to Tucumcari, New Mexico, to get this checked out. Which when I went through Tucumcari, it was like a row of buildings. Rhonda? Is Rhonda here? Jimmy Samples, hi from Philippi, West Virginia, a biblical town. Paul went to Philippi. And if I miss anybody, I'll catch on the flip-flop, or the flip chop if you so prefer. Jack, may I suggest look into nebulizing with sodium. I thought you were going to say look into the camera more, Jack, because I'm always looking at the comments. Nebulizing with sodium ascorbate, vitamin C. This helps with a lot of upper respiratory issues. I'll keep that in mind. In fact, I'll even write it down, because if I don't, I'm going to be trying to find it in all the comments. That's harder. They gave me a nebulizing treatment Thursday when I was at urgent care. This time I had a doctor instead of a PA. Nothing against the PA. And Um, yeah, there it is. I'm just writing this down. Uh, I don't have a machine right now. My mom used to have one. My kids had one back in the day. They're in their 30s now. Okay. I do have a puffer. Um, that's one of the three things I have. I have a 5-day supply of prednisone. If I take a 30-day supply of prednisone, I will become Ralph Cramden Plus. It blows you up. You know, Jerry Lewis had to, not Jerry Lee, Jerry Lewis had to go on massive steroids when he had a condition. And he did one of the last telethons he did, and he was just like a balloon, you know. But as soon as the treatment was over, he stopped taking the prednisone. He went right back to his normal size, and he lived quite a few years more. See, that's what he had to do. So that's only a 5-day thing, and then there's that other antibiotic, DOC, whatever. You need to be baptized by Elvis, says Shelley. I've been baptized right here at Tri-State Family Christian Center, and I believe that was probably enough. But yeah, we'll be talking about that tonight. You know, yeah, all right. Don't let me. I'm not going to do it quite yet. Mary Bronner is here. I better put on my $1.25 better to read this glasses from the Dollar Tree. Um, yes, I have not shaved my mustache, my white mustache. I'm letting it grow for a little while. Um, but yeah, we have Mary Bronner. Hey, this is there another one from Kentucky. This time, West Kentucky. Love Bob. Joyce is a very interesting person, to say the least. To say the least, absolutely is. And I'm looking for that filmmaker. We'll see if he joins us because I did invite him, but I'm not going to mention who he is or anything unless he happens to pop in. But he might think we're full tilt bozo, you know. He might think we're full tilt bozo, or we're this, you know, there's like this big Trump family. I actually like Ron DeSantis more. I like RFK in some respects. But the old man who's destroyed America in 2 years, I can't seem to take a liking to him. I can't seem to take a liking to him. God bless you, Jimmy Samples. And of course, people talk amongst themselves. Pastor Bob talks at all the new people that show up at the church. They go out for fried chicken after the service. I haven't heard that one, Larry. I know he likes to go to Applebee's sometimes, and probably Texas Roadhouse. I have a picture of him and Walina in what looks to be Applebee's, but I'm not positive because there's more than one place to eat in Benton, Arkansas. But yeah, last Sunday's service was very eventful, which was followed by them going out to a watering hole of some sort. I don't know where. I know that some of the audience went. At least one or two members went, and they had quite to say about it. They had quite a lot to say about it. The interesting thing is that last Sunday's service, Pastor Bob sang "How Great Thou Art." Now, in the past, I have referred to that song as a song that would require the pastor to go to full voice, as does American Trilogy, the Elvis classic that Bob Joyce found himself singing because his stepson, was very insistent that he sing it. His stepson, Matt Joyce, or whatever he is a Elvis imitator. Does a pretty good job. I think he's grown in the role too, because I've seen later work. And so at the Denton's in Benton nightclub, Bob was called up to the stage. Matt called him Daddy, and he invited him to sing American Trilogy, which Bob was very reluctant to do. All the regulars know the story, so I'm just rushing the story. But anyway, he's so nervous because everyone's taking video and the flash photography, and he's forgetting the words a little bit, and Matt is feeding him the words. But they had sung the song before at another event, and when it gets up to the end, he's trying to have Matt finish it, and he wants Daddy to finish it. And so Bob decides to go for it, and he has to go to full voice to do it. Many Elvis imitators have come close, but nobody quite sounds like Elvis. So Bob was forced to go to full voice, an American Trilogy in Denton's and Benton. And when he did that, for many thousands of people that have seen the video, you can see it right here on YouTube, from the nightclub in Denton's, um, in Benton. When he goes to full voice to complete American Trilogy, many people at that point said, well, that's Elvis Presley. Just like if you go to YouTube and you type in He Hideth My Soul by Bob Joyce, you know that's Elvis Presley because God gave you a brain. But don't notice. Don't notice. People get angry. People get angry if you notice things. But if you put up pictures and videos and you don't say nothing, you keep your mouth shut, that's not so bad. Good promotion, I suppose. More people see the gospel just like they do by watching me, but I don't get any credit for that. But if you tell the story chronologically, you become a pain in the posterior, I guess. And I do other topics. You all know that. So anyway, I said that I've never seen him do it at the church where he goes to full voice. Obviously, he's not going to sing American Trilogy, I don't think. um, but if he were to do How Great Thou Art, well, last Sunday he did it. He sang How Great Thou Art. Oh, it's just high drama as the video begins with Popcorn Sutton in the frame. You don't get to see much of him, but there's Popcorn Sutton. Now, I often wondered if Popcorn was a good drummer or if he just, one of these keeping time, because I never see him. And all I know of it now is he gets the cymbal part right, to start off the song. Good job there, Popcorn. Everybody knows who you are by now. You write all kinds of letters to everybody, and so he does the cymbals, and we get to just see him. He was looking good, I must say. He could be Popcorn Sutton's son. Popcorn Sutton, if you don't know, if you watch the show Moonshiners, he was a legendary moonshiner. And hello, Andra, welcome, Gene Phillips. I said that already. I'm glad that you are here. Hi, Jack and everyone. Rick Robertson retracted his message. Well, give us a new one then. And I see somebody else new. But anyway, then we see the praise team, and then finally Bob does the song mostly by himself. Now, see, here's the thing. It's just like Karen Carpenter when the Carpenters started. Herb Alpert, get the name right, pretty much told her right away, you can't be the drummer of the Carpenters. She was for a while, but eventually they said, Karen, you got to hire a drummer. We got to get a drummer for you, and you got to be out front. You have this incredible voice, Karen Carpenter, and you need to focus on that. And they need to focus on you and Richard. But basically, you got to be right out there singing a song like Superstar, not tapping the drums, And she did. And of course, she is one of the greatest vocalists that we ever had. The same is true of Pastor Bob Joyce. To really give it all you have in a song like that, get someone to play the piano, come out front with the microphone and sing it. And I think that would increase the experience and also increase the perception of who they were watching, But I know he's there to glorify God, not to glorify himself. But I'm just saying, in terms of giving that your best shot where you're not worried about the keys, you really need to be just standing out there with a microphone like somebody else used to do in a white, blue, and various colored jumpsuits once, But even with that restriction, sitting down, he sounded very much like Elvis singing How Great Thou Art. And then they went over to the lake to do Baptizing. Household of Faith website put up a notice saying if you are coming to be baptized, they put this on their website. I believe I'm stating this right. I don't think my eyes are playing tricks on me, and other people told me too. If you're coming to be baptized just because you think the pastor is Elvis, you're coming for the wrong reason. And that's absolutely true. Um, how many would that stop? Just wouldn't, because people would play mind games with themselves. Well, I'll be real focused on that, and hopefully you are, because that's a very important time in someone's life when they make it a decision as an adult, teenager, or whatever, to be baptized. So I don't know how many people were actually baptized in the water by Pastor Bob Joyce. I don't know. Return to sender, Elvis under protection. Says Scott Baker. Is that the name of a book? Scott, welcome, welcome, welcome. I saw we had somebody else new. Giving me a hard way. If your name was John Smith, I'd have no problem with this. Leo, no, that's not right. This is why I could never do news copy. Liao. Last name is Kyapo. Kyapo. The last note Bob hit at the end of American Trilogy was way off, Jack. Also, we have someone here who's coming in to put a little, how you want to say in America, doubt into the fire. Um, I didn't think it was his best finish to the song, as he was sitting down and really quite intimidated to be there. But I think he was pretty close. I think he was pretty close. He was also considerably older, wasn't he? He was, what was he? Yeah, math, 78, 79, something like that then. And so he's not going to sound like he's at Madison Square Garden or live from Hawaii, in 1972. He's not going to sound like that. He's not going to be able to sound like that. But thought it was pretty convincing. But I respect your opinion. Uh, there are been people that did sound analysis, voice analysis, and would agree with your point, I suppose. And but there's been so many others that don't. Gypsy Diamond, a trip to remember. I started at Household of Faith for baptism, then on to Graceland for Elvis Week. Had the best time, a time to remember. Well, tell me more at some point, Gypsy, in the email. My personal email is jackthefairguy@gmail.com. Jack the Fair Guy, Fair, like you're going to the carnival. Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. Deborah Lake is here. Hello, Deborah. I'm glad you're joining us as well. Got about 39 that I can tell are watching right now. And we always do pretty well in the replay, but of course I have to put the magic words in for that to happen. And I can't always do that, in good faith. He sounded wonderful. 99% of the song, just ending to kind of messed up. I'm not Popcorn Sutton, though. But are you a friend of Popcorn Sutton? Do you go to Household of Faith? Have you been other people? See, this is what happens in my threads once in a while. Someone will come on and they'll try to be, pretty cool about it right away. They'll be a little disagreeable, but it'll take 3 or 4 messages before they say, "So, Jack, why don't you take Ed's offer up to come to the church and ask him for yourself, see for yourself, whatever." Yeah. Oh, he really loved that. I'm sure that, first of all, you are not allowed to mention that in the church. I wouldn't be going to church to do that. I sure would be a thrill to meet the pastor, but I'd be going to church to worship the Lord. I feel if I did anything else but do that as I go in there, then I'm messing with my eternal security, although I don't decide it, you know what I mean? But it would just be in my nature that I'm there to praise the Lord, and also to hear a great message and be blessed. And of course, most great messages are never put into practice in people's daily lives. Though, see, that's one of the big problems of a hour long, 90-minute long service once a week. It's something, but it's not going to get you there. It's really a personal issue. It's a personal commitment that you make. How serious you want to get about living your faith, and that's not happening in a 90-minute church service. It just isn't. No affiliation with the church. Yeah, I can, certainly I can respect your opinion. I would agree that he if our perception was right, and I only speak of possibilities. um uh, Elvis in Hawaii, 1972, is going to be better than, say, if Elvis was alive in 2011, sitting down, nervous, finishing out the song. But I thought he was great doing it anyway. Cough button. It's better, but it's not there yet. And um, I got Rhode Island coming up soon, and um, Connecticut, Foxwoods, psychedelic furs. And we're going to Rhode Island to go to the um, Collingwood Mansion. Just outside. There's a walking tour outside of the grounds of where they shot the exteriors for. We're big Dark Shadows fans. Big Dark Shadows fans. Jimmy Samples. Why would they have that much security at the church unless there's another reason someone had told them that the security there was very big, was a very big to do? Why would they have that much security at the church? Well, I had heard an interesting story. Someone who writes me um, fairly long emails that may be watching tonight. When I see Jimmy or James, I'm looking for James to come on tonight. Feel free, James. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. I might, but you won't, because love. I thoroughly enjoyed what you have done in the past, and I know you've got something new coming out. Um, but this person went, and they had several observations. I'm not even going to give her name. I'm telling you, it's a her. But she went to the church a couple of Sundays ago, and Pastor Bob was literally standing by the door as she walked in, and she met him. And one of her first impressions was, well, he seems considerably older than when I see him on the screen, when I see him preaching and what have you, and maybe more frail. At some point, I think at the end, she got to hug him, and she has worked in the health field, and so she has done some lifting of patients, and she kind of knows how an older person feels, when she supports their back. She knows what they feel like. She knows there's a difference, but certainly than a 35-year-old man that you were hugging would feel like. So she saw he was very soft spoken, and he looked older. He came off as older. You know what I mean? And but they started to do the service. She saw at least one gentleman she thought would be a bodyguard. But then he sat down like a couple of rows from Bob. A bodyguard should never sit down. There should always be one standing over there that could get to the pastor in like they would get to the president, like in 30 seconds, 20 seconds, if they needed to. And then during the service, as he was preaching, some man just starts walking up the aisle. Did this happen? Anybody know? They would have cut this out of the tape. They would have cut this out of the tape, I'm pretty sure. Some man just started walking up towards Pastor Bob, and he seemed visibly shaken by it. And he said something like, "What's this?" Well, as this man was walking up, three women were from the church, um, were walking behind him. And when Pastor Bob looked up and said, "What's this?" the man thought to be the guy guard suddenly jumped up and came over. And the man looked at Pastor Bob and said, "I just want to pray to receive Jesus." Okay, so that's what they did. Um, Now, you should never interrupt a pastor while he's preaching. You should wait to the altar call. But who am I to say? You know, who am I to say? Um, I'm seeing myself down there. Let me move this thing. That's distracting. Okay. Um, but that did happen, according to this person who wrote to me, and the the person who was thought to be one of the bodyguards, at least, was near Elvis most of the time. Very personable and what have you, but watching out for him. Elvis the Image has passed away August 1777. A lot of people are still looking for the image, not the man. God bless Pastor Bob for having to put up with these people. Yes. I'm not going to say some of that is ambiguous, but because you don't believe Pastor Bob was ever Elvis, I believe. Is that what we've uncovered here, Larry? And is now becoming an issue, which is fine. You know, you're doing it in a respectful way, so that's cool. Um, the comments I hear all the time are, "He's not old enough. He doesn't look 88," and that when Pastor Bob was born again, that man ceased to exist. And I know the scriptures, and we've recited them many times, but that doesn't mean um, people are not going to notice if they believe this man was Elvis Presley. And the old man passing away is a spiritual thing. It's not the name you were given. He still would technically be Elvis Presley, but he's now a born again version. The old man is dead, and he has a mission from God, and amen, amen, amen. He's doing what God called him to do. I know in my case, Larry, if I stop talking about this completely because the audience doesn't want me to, I'll probably be in a small room talking to myself. It's not easy to make the transition. It's not easy to make the transition. I'm looking at various topics and getting ready to do Zoom and what have you, but it's not an easy thing when people love to talk about something to never mention it. But if you notice, I'm not doing new Elvis videos pre-recorded. The one who preached Lisa Marie's private funeral slash the verdict 2 is my hottest video right now. I think we're going to hit 12,000 by the end of Sunday or close to it. And of course, the verdict 1 is going towards 79,000, which for me is very, very good. So when you look and you sound like Elvis, when you kind of go along and make jokes, and when you give hints and what have you. And he knew exactly, Larry, in 2011, when he went on YouTube, making himself a public figure, he knew exactly what was going to happen. He's a bright man. He forfeited any privacy. And people come from all over the world and watch all over the world because of the perception. And hopefully the Holy Spirit uses that and they hear the gospel and it makes a difference in their life. But if you ask me to name 10 people that I've ever known personally that went on to hearing a message in a church and were able to successfully deny the flesh and become really warriors for Jesus, I don't think I could give you 10. I don't think I could give you 10. I could give you 10 that I thought were warriors and ended up doing unbelievable things. And you've got flesh and I've got flesh and every man has flesh. And Pastor Bob has preached about that, saying, "Oh, the flesh, you know," so we all have it. We all have it. So sometimes we come in and out of holiness and, you know, uh, I just decided to be more honest about my flaws. And so I set myself up for criticism, and some of the we lost a few people that thought I was maybe a little bit too honest, that I wasn't playing the game well enough, I guess. Felice from Teaneck, New Jersey. Well, you can't get any more New Jersey than that. My God, do you have a stupid governor, Felice? I mean, this man is beyond stupid. If we did a weekly stupidest person in the world, we'd have to get the governor in there at some point. What he's trying to make it so parents have no say whether their 10-year-old decides to change their gender. He wants the information to be totally hidden from them. This guy was almost recalled. There was a chance for it, but he stayed in and got reelected. You just can't figure why some things happen. Will the pastor ever come out as E, or can't for many reasons I want to believe, but need more veracity? Um, well, we certainly covered all in these videos, from the verdict 1 and 2, and other videos. Some of them I took more than a half dozen down, because I am toning down the topic. People scream to keep some of the ones they enjoy the most up, and so far I'm doing that. But I don't know. Oh, yes, you are right. Kathleen Jack, who is the beautiful woman behind me. That is my partner of, well, it was 14 years ago this month that we had our first date, and that was at the Renaissance Fair, which is, I think, just about opening up now in Tuxedo, New York. It is open. And we had our first date there, and I held her hand for the first time at the French Mime show. I know his name. I'll think of it. No, I won't. Probably I won't. But there's Karen right there. And met her in St. Joseph's Catholic School in 1964, the fall of 1964. Was with her in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade then. She said I tried to trip her, I believe, in 6th grade. That would probably be the grade, because I got rambunctious in 6th grade. And I begged her to come on again tonight, and she's thinking about it. We were talking about it in the gazebo. What would I talk about? I said, well, we can talk about you living in Germany. We can talk about your work experience if you want. And we can even talk about the psychedelic furs or something like that. I'm trying to soften her on the subject. She's just shy, she's shy. We watched some Dark Shadows tonight. Oh, she made chicken and dumplings tonight, everybody, with the Bisquick, I'm not talking about these little dumplings, Now I'm talking about real fluffy Bisquick type dumplings with carrots and onions and what have you. And that was delicious. It was delicious. I'm still able to eat fine, although I did in the very beginning, before I got some medication. See, they put me on the Z-Pack at first, and it is just too weak of a drug. I may be allergic to penicillin. I don't know for sure. I was in the mid-60s, but they say that tends to work out as you grow into adulthood. I was offered that. 3 Severed Heads, my favorite serial killer, joins us. I'm glad to see you are here. 3 Severed Heads. And lovely photo. Tell her hello. Thank you, Brenda. I will. You know how when you go to church, tell the Father, I have sinned. He tells you to repent. Why is it okay for Pastor Bob to sin, to not tell the truth unless they won't listen to him? Well, if he tells, if he were to say that he used to be somebody else that just happened to be the most famous person ever, solo artist ever, he has to leave Benton right away. He'll be besieged. If the mainstream media are ignoring it now, they would be forced not to then. So he would probably, as I've said before, since Graceland seems to be, I don't know, Riley's there, right? Or she's got plans, and he'd end up on the at the Elvis Hotel in Memphis, at the on the top floor of the suite, a prisoner there. But they have that beautiful theater there, only about, I don't know, 250 seats, is it? Something like that. It's not many. He could do stuff there and broadcast it from there. John McFly, hello, Johnny. Becca is here. Hi, Becca. Hello, Jack and family. We're up to about 49 right now in the count here on a Saturday night. Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings. So, yeah, I'd be interested in hearing from people that went to both Elvis Week at Memphis in detail, especially in the email. I'm going to go to some emails. So if you sent me an email, Warren and Mike from the UK is watching. Hi, Mike from the UK. I'm glad you're out there. Always want to know where you're watching from. If you're new, please subscribe and like. If you're in the replay crowd, watching in the replay, you can always pause and come back to it. Make your comments there. We would love to hear from you. And of course, we've got Shelley from Canada. Two mommy ums. Don't say so much. I just said after I said don't say too much. Hit the like, says Three Severed Heads. She's going to bat for us there. Oh, what happened to my Yankees? I mean, I don't have I did it again. Now I'm very focused on not doing it. Who is Aaron Boone, the manager of the Yankees. When I work with the there's another one. When I work with the 94-year-old gentleman, that's when I usually get to see the Yankees games the most, because he has the Yes Network. I've got like 4 gigs coming up. I've got about like a total of 8 gigs coming up with him in the future. I usually do the 1:30 to 5:30 shift. So if if it's screwing up my performance now, thinking about not saying if it's an afternoon game, I get to see it. Sometimes I do an evening shift, though, and I prefer night baseball. I don't know about you. Anyway, my Yankees have fallen to last place, and it's time for a new manager, even if it wouldn't do anything, because if this were George Steinbrenner and not his dopey son, who only cares that, the stands are full and the hot dogs are $6-7 and making money, that's what he cares about. It's just I have a video up here saying the Yankees will never win another World Series, but there's an unless to that video. And it's gotten some hits. I'm 40 but look 25. So that Bob Joyce argument flies out the window. Just saying. Yeah. Some people just have good genes. But everybody says, well, Vernon died fairly young. His mom certainly died very young. So where would the genes be for him to live to 88 years old? Well, hello, Linda Justice. I'm watching from North Carolina. I enjoy listening to you. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Linda, welcome. Tiffany Cherry, that sounds different. Hello, better late than ever. I know we've heard from several Tiffanys, but not the Tiffany who sings. Do you sing, Tiffany? And where are you watching from? Let's see. Tiffany Farley. Okay. Yeah, I've heard that name. Your brother was Chris Farley. I think you told me that. I'm just joking. What a funny man he was. Died way too young, of course. Excess. You are popular here, Larry. I got to say, Larry. Yeah, I was saying before, he's posting a lot more videos now. So watch Larry. I'll promote him, even if he gives me a run for my money sometimes. From Texas. Okay, cool. Oh, how has it been living in such a hot climate? It's been really wild, hasn't it, in Texas this summer, as it has been in so many states. I'm sure Arkansas is one of them, so because they're so close. And We had a pretty hot July here in the Hudson Valley of New York, but August has been, although there's been some hot days, it's been very cool in the evening, usually in the 70s and then into the 60s. And right now it is 57 and clear. 57 and clear. Let me get to some of the topics. So we've talked about Elvis last Sunday at Household of Faith, both inside the church and the baptism. Share your stories with us. Feel free, or you can do it in the email. I'm going to be getting the emails in just a second. 3 minutes of politics as well. So I mentioned shenanigans in the thread. People eventually let me know who they're representing. Usually, they just can't help it. They can't help it. Lots of new programmers I see on the Bob Joyce Elvis topic. Maybe that'll take some of the heat off of me, but I'm toning down the topic. And but I will do breaking news if God allows. I will do breaking news if there should be some, but I'm not going to try to find breaking news or boost it up to that level, make it look like it's breaking news. So, when something happens, like they announce a private funeral, TMZ announces a private funeral for Lisa Marie, where you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement to go to it. No cell phones or anything that allowed. That's breaking news. But I'm not looking to do new videos. But here on Worldwide Ramblings, people want to talk about it, and that's fine. And you can bring up other topics. Including you, Larry. You can bring up other topics, but some just come to chat back and forth, and that's your call, So Rhonda Ledbetter, I'm glad you are here. Help me, Rhonda. Terrible weather for you, Rhonda. Yeah, this is happening in so many places. Some of the comments are just so amusing. New programmers out there on the topic. I've seen some of your videos, just a few. And here's a new one for me. Even though this, I guess, was talked about first in the late 80s, mid 80s, that all birds aren't real. All birds. You don't just go for, some, 50%. The current spokesman for the organization, not the founder, put on the glasses that can you actually see out of Jack. The current founder of birdsaren'treal.com is a young lad named Peter McIndoe. He was on Fox News Network with Pete Hedzik filling in for Jesse Waters this week, although I have been watching Eric Bowling more because I want my Tucker back, and I've been watching that the gentleman before him, Rob, at 7 o'clock on the Newsmax. I have been watching him a lot. He's very good. Birdsaren'treal.com. Peter McIndoe is the young man. Now, we could easily change that, of course, to, as I'm sure he's heard many times, Peter Wackadoo, but he says these birds, all of these birds that you see, are drones used by the government. He even has a billboard up in, of all places, Memphis, Tennessee, that reads, "Birds aren't real." He says from 1959 to 2001, the government mercilessly genocided over 12 billion birds and simultaneously replaced them with surveillance drones in the sky. What are we eating at KFC? What the heck? Because a chicken is a bird. I actually had to Google this to make sure it wasn't just like chickens are foul and they're not really birds. So, everybody says every Thanksgiving time to carve the bird, to carve the bird. Yes, a turkey is a bird. So what are we eating at KFC and at Chick-fil-A, if all birds aren't real, if the chickens are mechanical. Now, we had 7 cats. Karen had 7 cats, not me. When I first moved in here in 2010, we had Herb, who was the oldest cat, loved Herb, also known as Gypsy. We had we had Scully, who just passed away a few months ago. Her daughter Brenda, who they hated each other. Brenda, did I say Brenda? No, not Brenda. Bella. Bella. Is Bella Boo Kitty here tonight? We do have a Bella. Bella Boo Kitty. Maybe she'll see the replay and comment. Um, yes, Hurricane Hillary. Think it's down to a cat 2 right now, speaking of cats. And I am going to talk about the storm. That I do have that written down somewhere. Yeah, on the other page. And so this guy is dead serious about it. Now he's very quirky, and he kind of plays into the perception that he's not all there sometimes. And when he did the interview with Pete Hegseth, he said, "No, it's not a conspiracy." And then at the end of the interview, he says, "Thanks for having me on, Tucker." And Pete said, "Yeah, you can call me Tucker, whatever you want." And that was that. But anyway, to finish the thought, and I have a habit of not doing this, when we had 7 cats, one of them was Kaz, my favorite cat. He passed away earlier this year. A lot of cancer in cats, because they have such a bad diet sometimes when they find stuff. But he killed a few birds and didn't really eat them, but left them kind of tore open a little bit on the lawn. And that didn't look mechanical to me when I had to take the snow shovel and pick it up and throw it in the woods. No, I did not give it a proper burial, I'm sorry to say. I threw it in the woods. Did not look to be mechanical to me. But you take a great concept that some government, if not America, some government would use to make a drone that looks like a bird, and that would be a pretty cool cover. So if you roll with that and instead of saying every single bird is a drone, spy bird, you might gain some validity. I just saw a little bit of Alex Jones, because we just got Sling TV. Oh yeah, I'm going to do a video on this, so I won't say too much about it now. But I don't know what they were thinking in bringing back Bob Iger to run Disney, because he has just continued to run it into the ground. He was supposed to, if you're going to be paid millions and millions of dollars, you think your job would be, if you're going to continue to get that, to save the company and not let the woke progressive morons just continue to destroy it as your stock plummets, and you've lost millions and you've had to fire thousands of people, and Bob Iger is still there. They just hired a woman of color, which is fine, to play Snow White, and the movie is going to be coming out soon, right? And she goes out to do some promotion. Snow White should look like Anderson Cooper's sister, right? I mean, is that unreasonable to say? 1937 on the screen, the cartoon version of Snow White looked like she'd never seen a day of sunshine in her life. And she had the 7 dwarfs, and of course she had Prince Charming. Well, the new Snow White, so we're not going to be doing that. I mean, the prince was basically stalking her, and this is about empowerment of women, this movie and stuff. If you're not going to do Snow White, if the 7 dwarfs are just too politically incorrect, don't do Snow White. She comes out there after probably be paying a decent salary as a nobody, and proceeds to do everything she can to make sure half of America isn't going to want to come and see her movie. Now, I'm not saying the other half won't. I'm just saying that, oh man, I would, if I was going to hire somebody, I'd make sure I put in the contract, this is what you can say and this is what you can't say. Because this idea that we want to turn off half of the people that are going to go buy a ticket to Snow White, make sure that they don't go, is just stupid. It's stupid. You don't want to do Snow White, don't do it, but don't try to capitalize off a classic tale. Change it into something else, because it's not going to work. You're just, and if it does work, it works with, the half of the country that seems to be pulling away. Year of the Cat. Yes, the late great. No, wait a minute. Is Al? He's gone, right? I lose track. Is Al Stewart gone? I think he's gone, but I could be wrong. If you're still alive, Al Stewart, Time Passages was my favorite. Time Passages. Yes, I like that a lot. I'm going to try to roll something in today. I've never tried to do that. Oh, I would love it if it works because Peter Noon, Herman from Herman's Hermits encouraged me. Really, really did. Now we're already, boy, 55 minutes in, and I've got to do 3 minutes of politics soon, but not yet. And we've got to talk about Hillary. Why are all Hillarys repugnant? No, they're not. Uh, but Hillary, wife of Bill, is, and this hurricane is. Oh, Agent M has joined us. Hi, how is everybody doing? Hello, Agent M. Glad you are with us. Glad you are with us. Hurricane is coming their way. Lord, watch over uh, them this week. Should be coming in sometimes Sunday. So it's turning into Sunday soon in 4 minutes on the East Coast of America. I live on 20 acres of land. Wow, you do, Andrew? And we have real birds. Yes, yes, yes. So as I say, if he would have said some of the birds are really drones, you could have made that fly a lot easier. Well, Ralph is here. I think we've heard from you before, and we've definitely heard from Paul McCreary before. Late again, well, you can always watch the replay because we had some fun in the first hour. And welcome to you, Ralph. I don't know if I remember where you're from, Ralph. But hit the subscribe and like button if you haven't already. 53 watching now. Karen says, well, don't do too long tonight because, you're still on the mend. And I said, well, it isn't always easy to not do that because I don't want to disappoint people. They're having fun and what have you. I'm feeling better, but, this isn't going away as easy as I thought. I sure don't want to develop pneumonia. But I'm on pretty good medicine right now, but I don't know if it's the final one. Suzanne, our French woman, is here. Hello. Jax. Get a nebulizer. Yeah. My kids had one. My mom had one. And I had a nebulizing treatment Thursday. And they gave me the inhaler that I can use up to 4 times a day. Something, probably that, is giving me a mild headache, and I hate headaches, even if it's not too severe. It's the kind of headache that when you take Tylenol or something, it doesn't go away. And I'm not supposed to be taking ibuprofen because I take metoprolol, and that the two don't mix. So, but that you're not the first person tonight to tell me to get a nebulizer. So maybe I'll be seeing my GP on Wednesday. You're in Illinois. Wow. Well, so if you want to see your governor in person, you probably have to go to the Golden Corral. Is that where you probably find him? What about that mayor in Chicago? What a dope. I can't be any more kinder than that. When somebody gets a job and there's rioting going on in the streets and the stores are being looted and the employees are not supposed to do anything and really it's not their job, to risk their life like that. So I get it. And the cops can only do so much, so they're quitting. Where was that place in America? And this has happened before. It was in Michigan, wasn't it? Where the entire police force just resigned. The governor's not on their side. It's like, if you don't know that Gretchen Whitmer is a serious danger to this country. She signed a law which would easily be overturned by the Supreme Court because it violates free speech, saying that if you are writing anything that anyone would find offensive, considering the transgender topic or whatever, and people can be whatever they want to be in America after they're 18. At 10 years old, when they barely are ready to make decisions about what they want to have for lunch, They can't be making life altering decisions because this is a current fad. And then when they're 12 years old, they want to change back and they're going to be told you can't. You can't. And then they'll commit suicide. And that'll be on you, bozo. You progressives. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, we have a weather girl. Karen's kind of like that. I used to say, and now it's time for a check of the weather with meteorologist Karen Morris. Um, so, wow, your politicians out there, Ralph, are rough. People are leaving states like that in droves, and they're going to places like Florida, South Dakota, North Dakota. The North Dakota governor, what's his name again? Ends with a G. I mean, begins with a G, his name. He's going to be in the debate Wednesday. President Trump is not going to be in the debate. He's not going to be in the debate because he's so far ahead of everybody else, and we all know what's been going on. I'm not going to do 3 minutes of politics yet, or even go too heavy into that because it'll go way past 3 minutes. But we're just seeing unprecedented things, and it makes you sick to your stomach what is trying to be done when you think about all the times that people like Hillary Clinton said that Trump did not win in 2016. It was a fraudulent election. All the things Stacey Abrams said about the 2018 Senate seat and how that she really won, even though she was like 57,000 votes short, on and on and on. It's fine if you're a Democrat to question an election, and of course it is. This is America. This is not North Korea. It's okay if Trump calls the governor of Georgia or somebody else, the attorney general, and says, "Find me 11,700 votes," because he really believes he has those votes and they are being hidden or what have you, and there's been shenanigans. It's okay. He doesn't mean make up or change votes that were people who voted from Democrat, change them to Republican. He means find 11,700 votes. Yeah, the debate will be a snoozer. Very wise choice on Donald Trump's part. And I don't usually say this about somebody not debating, but you got what, 11, 12 people out there. You got Nikki Haley, who wants to start World War III 10 minutes after she becomes president. You got future possibility picks for the VP. I think Tim Scott is the leader. And I'm doing the politics now, and I don't want to quite do that. So, but I agree with you. I like Asa Hutchinson. He's got a nice smile and everything, but he hasn't got a chance. I mean, I don't think he's even going to qualify for the debate, right? So, it's like I love Larry Elder, but he hasn't got a chance. I am glad President Trump won't be at the debate. He has nothing to gain and would be targeted by the others. And he will also just be given the same amount of time to speak. If you're getting between 53 and 57% of the vote, you don't get more time than the governor from North Dakota who's just squeaking in at 1%. I mean, come on. Identity is top secret, Larry, says Kathleen. Actually, my identity is top secret. Secret agent woman. Now, in that song, Secret Agent Man, didn't Johnny Rivers sing Secret Asian Man at least once? Listen to that song with your headphones on. I think he at least did it once. At least. Let's go to emails now, okay? People write to Jackie here on Worldwide Ramblings, or really at the virtual church. They write to Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. And let's see. Warren Witherspoon did. Warren Witherspoon wrote. See how I light up when I go to emails? I like that. And just watched your video on Elvis Week. I don't have a video on Elvis Week, but I think I made some comments of someone who went there. See, I'm not really that type of Elvis fan. I respected him and played his music on the radio and loved him, but I never saw him live. I wish I had. And, but I've never been to Graceland. I found this story the Bob Joyce slash Elvis story fascinating. Other than that, I'm just a regular fan of Elvis Presley's music. I'm not the kind of person who collects. I don't have a velvet black light Elvis anywhere in the house. And I did read the Elvis book by Albert Goldman and the other books on this topic, um, some of them. But, I just, I didn't say, oh man, I missed Elvis week. For one thing, I'm not so sure he died in 1977. So I'm not in that camp. I'm really happy you're doing well. I'm getting better, and please keep praying. I believe the stronger medication will definitely kick the stubborn cough. Well, the cough is much better, although I'm coughing tonight because I'm talking so much. Keep me in your prayers, and I appreciate that. There's definitely two sides to that coin. If you're coming to see Bob Joyce, it should be for the Lord. Amen, amen, amen. But saying that, there's a flip side to that, and you're right. There is another side to this coin, and he's referring to the baptism that we were talking about in our promo video for this show. Warren says, of course, everyone's going to come to see Bob Joyce as well. The cat's out of the bag. Many people know the preacher man is Elvis Presley. If people are willing to travel just to see this preacher man from around the world, what does that tell you? There's been nothing like this ever. That's what I was going to say to James, the filmmaker, if he checked in tonight, because his biggest movie is awaiting him. It's not the kind of movie he usually does, though, especially in the mainstream world. There isn't a story out there quite like this one. Think about it for a second. A preacher man that talks like Elvis and puts aside his Bob Joyce voice, he sings like Elvis because he does have both. Plus, you have all these coinky dinks, as you like to put them. I mean, come on, show me something out there that's even remotely close to this story. There isn't. Let's talk about all the Elvis Presley gospel songs that Bob Joyce sings, all those specific songs he likes to choose to sing. I mean, come on, who are you kidding? Plus, Bob Joyce keeps dropping all these clues. I honestly think Bob Joyce knows what he's doing and having fun doing it. And I say amen, amen, amen to that, Warren. I'm glad you're out there. And certainly heard from Michael, who is in London, England this week. And let me see. Okay, that's an older one. I thought we got rid of that one. That's the one you're talking about, the songs that we did a couple weeks ago. We did that a couple of weeks ago. Thought this was going to be easy this time. I think I have it. I have one of them. Many thanks regarding my 60s and 70s TV shows. We did that review. I'm not sure if the guys in the States saw the Parkinson show. He died yesterday at 88. This is a British talk legend, 2 months younger than Elvis, and was absolutely a legend of chat here in the UK. I really appreciate it if you decide not to include this short piece. If the Parkinson show is unknown to most of your audience, I think he is, right? We get this Graham Norton. I see a lot of him on YouTube, Graham Norton interviewing famous people. And I reminded Michael of the late, great David Frost. We were talking back and forth about David Frost, who had a wonderful talk show. In the 70s, it was on, in New York, it was on Channel 5. Were they owned by Fox then? I don't know. WNEW TV. That aired at 8:30 to 10 every night. And he had some wonderful guests on, and he would always ask them, no matter who it was. I think even if he had Henry Kissinger on, he'd say, and what is your definition of love? What is your definition of love? He went on to do his famous interviews with Richard Nixon, which gained him a whole new respectability for serious talk. And of course, that was depicted in the movie Frost Nixon. And who played Nixon now? Talk about, it hasn't been so long since I watched the movie again with Michael Sheenan. Am I saying that right? Who's one of my favorite actors. But who played Nixon in Frost Nixon? You can comment when I get back to it. I will be reminded. Um, but he talks about some of his favorite personalities from the time gone by, the classic era. Peter Ustinov was certainly a favorite of mine, who played the investigator Perot um, so well in what was a series of movies. And I only saw a little bit of Shirley Temple. Peter Sellers, one of my favorite of all times. Michael and I have talked about the movie Being There as being one of his great works, along with, of course, all the times he played Inspector Clouseau. So wonderful. He had to be begged by Blake Edwards most time to do every sequel because he knew he was being typecast, you know. He was able to break out of that a little bit with certainly Being There and what have you. I never saw much of Sir Alec Guinness or drank his beer either. I thought John Wayne was a good actor. Some people would say only some of the time was he good, especially in the Westerns, not so much when he did the Towering Inferno or whatever he was in. James Stewart, you don't get any better than that. Fred Astaire, what a legend. Lauren Bacall, we've shared the Lauren Bacall story here in the past. James Cagney, I've seen some of those movies on TCM, fantastic. Bing Crosby, not so nice of a man when the camera was off, apparently, but wonderful on screen. As they say in the movie Return to Me, watch that movie with David Duchovny. It was the last thing Carol O'Connor ever did. The late, great Robert Loggia, the female British actor who plays a great American. What's her name? I always forget. She plays the female lead in Return to Me. You want to see that movie. It is worth your time. Trust me on this. But just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Of course, you're a big Elton John fan like myself. And John Lennon, loved him. Yoko, not so much. Orson Welles. Well, you know, it was on the Merv Griffin show. I think I've said this before, Michael Stein, that Orson Welles did his best interview hours before he died because he said to Merv Griffin, he was usually very, I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about that. Don't even ask me on air. Don't do it. But he said, Merv, tonight, you can ask me anything you want. Did he have a premonition, do you think? I don't know. But he did. Merv went for it. And if you can find that interview, which I have to be honest, I have not found, um, it's supposedly legendary television. Legendary television. Let's see here. You never saw Johnny Carson, Michael, from across the pond. Well, now on Tubi, you get Tubi, right? They have the Johnny Carson channel. So you can watch 24 hours of Johnny Carson. I often find myself tuning in for a little while and enjoying it. It's great to see a young Burt Reynolds and a young, Lauren Bacall, whoever. Just about everybody went on there. Some of the stuff is good, and some of the stuff is bad. And yes, you're right. Sir David Frost was a gem, and as was Dick Cavett. Dick is still living, by the way, and did a lot of voiceover work. Dick Cavett, but Dick Cavett was the United States version of. Well, I don't know if I want to. I don't want to put on the same level as David Frost because Cavett was exceptional in hard hitting interviews. Very nervous about it though. And yes, Dick Cavett was interviewing a gentleman. I think they were talking about health. He was somewhat of a health expert, this guy, and he died during the show, during the taping. Only the audience got to see this that was there because they never aired it. But somebody died while on the Dick Cavett show. Yeah. And I was talking to you about Peter Noon. I'm going to try to roll that in, but it probably won't work. I've never tried to do this. Peter Noon on a plane typing. It's not stimulating, but if I'm able to bring it in, because he's not saying too much except ordering a tea with a sweet and low and 2% milk. He's typing to his people on the website. So we'll see what happens when I try that. Probably nothing. And yes, about 4,600 people plus are in the Peter Noon fan club. It'll cost you like $36.50 a year. And he gives you a lot of stuff for that. And he does a lot of videos, but he has been hacked a few times since he does offer merchandise and stuff in his Facebook channel, Facebook. He gets people hacking into him and creating false sites, and he said that they've literally gone after widows for money. So he says, "This is the only place you can follow me. This is this here you will know it's actually me because you'll see me, you know." But boy, they're clever. They're clever. They can rip that off too and make it look current, you know. it's it's really it's really a shame what goes on there. I'm just looking at the rest of your stuff. See if I can find specifically what I was looking for. Well, I think we'll save that other one for next time. Thank you, Michael Stein, for checking in. And let's see, back to me. There I am. I'm sure I missed a lot of comments. Brenda is talking about arthritis, and we all have that. I have it in my back and what have you. I find the more I get out there and do my walking and what have you, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's true. I find that my arthritis in my back is much less painful when I'm walking. She says that if arthritis in your hands, which you don't want to confuse if it's carpal tunnel, they hurt. They won't bend at times. Tried everything. Just you can't use some. It burns me. Yeah, there are various things. Obviously, ibuprofen. You can only take so much of that because you're going to start having a problem with your kidneys and stuff. Helps with arthritis, and as does Tylenol 600s. Tylenol 600s. Johnny Carson says Susan Carter was a mean man off stage. Sometimes Wayne Newton and Rivers experienced his mean streak. Well, with Wayne Newton, whom you remind me, I will see Mr. Wayne Newton, who's been in Las Vegas. My son was just in Las Vegas for a few days, and he showed me pictures of the Wayne Newton Theater and the Donny Osmond Theater, because Donny is like the new Mr. Las Vegas. He's there like, I don't know, 38 weeks a year or something like that. And I have these pictures somewhere, but I'm not prepared for this. Let's see here. I'll show you a couple of cool pictures. Well, this is one I showed to my son. Let me see. Trying to cover something up, apparently. All right. I knew it. I knew it. Got to be innovative here. I got to be innovative. Walmart. A very happy manager at Walmart. Look who came to visit. I think this is the Walmart in Monticello, New York, because the Hollywood vampires had rolled into town. And either the next day or the morning of the concert, look who came to visit her. Mr. Alice Cooper right there. Mr. Alice Cooper at Walmart. And that made her day. He's a very nice man, believes in the Lord Jesus Christ as his personal savior, Alice Cooper. I sent that one to my son. And let's see here. Las Vegas. Yes. And there is there's the Wayne Newton Theater. Wayne, up close and personal. That's how they build the tour. I'm trying to get it better. And there's the Donny Osmond Theater, the casino in Las Vegas. My son was there for like 4 days. Donnie is very popular. Very popular. I'm going to do 3 minutes of politics, but yeah, someone was talking about Wayne Newton, and Johnny Carson did have a mean streak, certainly did. He had a mother who was very abusive to him, and when she passed away, his reaction was, "Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead." I remember that. So he had he had issues and what have you, but he could also be very wonderful and kind as well. Wayne got really pissed at Johnny because he started making jokes about him, questioning his masculinity and things like that. And Wayne sent him several letters. I think he tried to call but never was able to get through to him, and he's Wayne Newton. So he just one day came to the Burbank studios and marched right into Johnny's office and said, "If you don't stop it with the jokes, I'm going to come back here and beat your ass." And Johnny never mentioned him again. Never mentioned him again. So, I mean, it's hard for me to pick up conversations in the middle sometimes, you know. What's revolting? What's insulting? But anyway, that for Brenda, for arthritis, I think the thing is you got to move if you're possibly able to. You've got to start to move those muscles, and you don't have to climb Mount Everest, but when you start climbing small hills, start with just regular flatland, and then do the hills. And some of these creams work a little bit. There's also braces that you can put on your knees when you're going to walk. Things that you can put to give you some support. Have you seen those commercials with the guy who's on the Law and Order? He has a whole line of products that he endorses. And Tommy Biggerstaff, Low Jack, fish oil, also honey for arthritis. That's you certainly reminding me about the omega-3 fish oils. Got to make sure you're getting the fresh stuff, not stuff that's been around forever. I didn't know about honey, and I know the bee man, Bob Reynolds, Maybrook Honey, in this neck of the woods. So we have his honey, and he says he eats a lot of his own product, the honey, and honey is very good for you. Yeah, so that should help, Brenda, if you're moving every day. And I'm starting to get that Craig Titus look, man. I don't know who Craig Titus is. Carb loading, yeah. I don't know. There's various, schools of thought. Certainly, we know that there, in terms of fats, there are good fats and there are bad fats. There are some good fats, certainly like avocado, that are very helpful for you, very good to eat. See if I can roll in. So I was kind of down and depressed the other night because this is lingering on, this bronchitis and what have you, and we've got some travel coming up, and of course, like most Christians, I'm secretly very afraid to die. So you know, I I'm hoping that this will become a thing of the past. We got 50 people watching right now. Hi there. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're watching in the replay, which will be available as soon as we end this broadcast. We're already almost an hour and a half in. Time flies. You love Alice, Brenda? Yeah, me too. I'm really sorry I didn't take Karen to the Hollywood Vampires. She kept on me about that, and it was a fantastic show. Johnny Depp was very good, I'm told, and Joe Perry was playing drums, right? I believe Joe Perry was playing drums, and it was a great show. But we're tight this year, we can't do everything, but that was one I probably should have strived harder for, because who knows when they'll be back this way. They only tour from time to time. um let's see if I can. So anyway, I came in and I started looking through Facebook, and I saw that Peter Noon had done a video, and I watched that, and it's just him on a plane. He's traveling to somewhere. He's 75 years old now. He lives in Santa Barbara, California, but he's always out somewhere. I mean, he tends to play venues where they love him so much because he's so good on stage and so personable with the audience, like Jimmy Buffett would be, or what's that guy who's never had a hit that could fill up? Oh, jeez. What's that other guy who comes around and does like one time he did 3 shows at Bethel Woods. He was there like the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I know his name like I know my own, but not at the moment, apparently. Not at the moment. Joseph Kelly. Hey, hey, hey. CBD works great. Yeah. And the medical marijuana too. I've been using a little bit of regular marijuana. I'm looking for the edibles. I think they're at the pot store that Karen used to have a card for medical marijuana, because that was first made legal in New York. And she went in there, but she's not good at the vaping, which is not really good for you, and the smoking. She's coughing all over the place. And so she tried some of the edibles, and they only have a very limited selection. It's not like you're going into Denver where you've got a full pot store with every kind of pot you can imagine. Now, I don't believe in recreational marijuana. I think it can lead to terrible car accidents because people were driving stoned, and that can happen with medical marijuana too, obviously. But I think if you have something like pain issues, or if you have insomnia, so I've been having a little insomnia. Now, they say people with ICDs can get insomnia because it's all in their head. They are, oh, I've got the ICD. What if it goes off while I'm sleeping? What's going to happen? I'm afraid to go to sleep because I got an ICD. No, I have a totally opposite feeling. I feel like I got a paramedic in my chest. The only problem is that things can happen, especially during the insertion. I had a very good doctor, Dr. EY, down at Westchester to put this in. But, if the leads come loose or something else, you can get a collapsed lung, or I don't know. Any number of things can happen. That would have been weird. I just started to feel funny as I said that. Live on the air. I started to feel for a moment that I was getting dizzy. See, if you're going to have an episode, and I've never even had any real significant pain, um, some people that actually do end up getting shocked, and that's only like 20 people out of 100 that get this in their lifetime ever get shocked. Sometimes before they just pass out. That'd be something if it happened live on the air. I've never passed out in my life, so when I start to get that feeling that oh, something is feeling a little different now, it catches my attention, and sometimes I have prayed, real quickly. But some people say, "Oh, I got shocked. I didn't know it because I guess I passed out," and they did. And then they woke up and they said they had no recollection of ever being shocked by their defibrillator. Hello, Jacqueline. Is that Jacqueline King? It sure is. Yes, people are subscribing to the channel. What happened to our other man there, Jay Masters? I don't see him from the road. People are subscribing to him as well. Hemp cream, yeah, Brenda, right? Yeah. So a few nights when we have it's legal here in New York now. This particular city that I live in, the mayor decided not to let the stores sell it. So they go 1 mile out of town, half a mile out of town to the town of Walkill, and it's legal there. So you get it there, and he can't do anything, but it's legal in New York. But he's just bad news for the businessman like who that have the smoke shops that want to sell marijuana. And for a while he let them do it, and then they made a law stopping. You elect these people, and then they become dictators. Boy, do we see a lot of that. I haven't even done 3 minutes of politics yet. Let's see if I can roll in that Peter Noon thing, because I was encouraged by at 75 years old, he's there typing on his computer, and he's got his headphones on. There's other people on the plane. They're chatting. Nobody seems to know him. If these are younger people, they're not going to know him. If they're older people, they are going to know him, and they're going to come up to him. They're going to leave their seat. But that didn't happen during this video. So I don't know if you'll even see this. I've never tried this. This probably won't work. What if I brought that in? This page is asking you to confirm that you want to leave information you've entered. It may not be saved. I've seen that warning before. I hope this doesn't